This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and today we're in the UK. I am here with Octobling Tales to discover a world of mystery and warfare created by this author who creates imaginary worlds based on pure imagination and his own life experiences. I am joined here with Andrew. Thanks so much for joining us here today.
Hi, thanks, Gary.
Let's start off a little bit about yourself. I mean, you basically were formally educated at Bangor Technical College and the University of Brighton. You grew up in a small village in Devon, England, where you left home at 19 to join the Royal Air Force as an airfield technician. After serving 9 years, you continued a career in technology. This really has led you to some very different places in our world. Was your experience a great benefit in your writing, would you say? I mean, even all the way back to childhood, maybe.
Yes, most definitely. I would. I've certainly used my experiences through the whole of my life, really, in my writing, and particularly when I left home at 19 to join the Air Force. It was a very different experience. As you quite rightly say, I was a country lad brought up in a very tight-knit community. So being thrown out into the outside world was quite a shock. Very similar to my main character in my books, really.
That is excellent. We're talking about probably a culture shock for you. Quite interesting. As a child, we all have imaginations. Yet, as we grow older, would you say we suppress some of that imagination? And as an adult who retired, did you enjoy revisiting that place inside yourself after adulting for so long?
Gary, you put it extremely well. I would totally agree with that. I retired about 2 years ago. I'd always wanted to put something down on paper, creativity, something that I created myself. And those imaginations, all those things that were used to go on in my head and were now bubbling up more so. I wanted to, the time to do that. So when I retired, it really gave me the opportunity to start putting things down on paper and, sort of exercising this creativity and putting stories together. So, yeah, I would agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, interesting. After visiting many different places and cultures in our world, you became increasingly interested in reading science fiction and fantasy novels. I mean, what is it about worlds of make-believe that has always attracted readers, would you say?
Well, I think it is a form of escapism. Um, so things that maybe they have imagined, not necessarily so, but certainly a surprise for many. To create worlds that are so, interesting and that have such a diverse, different aspects to it, both in the characters, people, the places as well. Not everybody can visit even our world. So to sort of delve into a story where you've got all this diversity and interest is something great. Having said that, I do like to have a little bit of something that people can relate to in my stories. So there's both that complete creativity, imagination, but there's also an element of something that people can relate to through relationships, even adversity, and getting through those adversities through coming together and working together.
That is lovely. I mean, quite honestly, the coming together, you're able to experience that and it can blend out into your real life, which is great. You have always wanted to write stories about these worlds, but you felt there was never time. Did retiring from your fast-paced profession provide that time? And what made you actually begin that writing journey?
Well, it's something I started really as a hobby. not really meaning to take it forward. One big factor that finally got me writing was my grandchildren, and in fact my children as well. They were avid readers as well. They're all younger than 12 years old. Then they were younger than 12 years old. And they had a lot of creativity. And I wanted to draw that out. I wanted to be, if you like, an example to them, to show them, look, you can do this as well as I can. So they were a big influence on me in taking this forward. Once I'd started, I thought, well, why don't I take this further and be really serious about this? So I've now published the first 2 books of what I hope will be a 9-book series. So I'm currently working on the 3rd book, which will be the last book in the first series of the Pagalon Chronicles. And then I intend to follow up with a 2nd series, which will be a prequel, and then finally a 3rd series, which will be a sequel to the first.
Let me ask you this. That was really the factor that I wanted to get out of you, that you actually started this to share it with your family, and now you've created this world where other people will be able to share it. I mean, what you imagined was the world of Pagalon, where there are many places and civilizations. Share with me a little bit where these chronicles, first of all, take place.
Okay. Well, they start on the world of Pagalon. In the first book, everything is, if you like, idealistic. So you're introduced to the main character, Morganuk. He's living with his adopted parents. He doesn't know where he comes from. He knows he doesn't come from the island he now lives on. But nevertheless, he's happy. And he's happy really until his friend returns from a sea journey, that's Freighter, and tells him about wars that are ongoing on the mainland. And that's really the start of Morganuk's big epic journey, both in physical travel to other lands, being exposed to warfare and lots of adversity, and also in his mind as well, to find out his real roots, because he knows he wasn't born there, even though he's loved his life on the island, peaceful island. It's no longer a peaceful island. It becomes something he has to do. So Pagalon opens up into a very rich, diverse world, where in fact there are a lot of secrets that have been there for centuries, up to that point unfound. But Morganuk starts to uncover those secrets.
How exciting, fascinating. I mean, your website even has the maps to view the places over the course of the timeline that spans nearly over 3,000 years. How many volumes or books in this series do you foresee to fully tell the story?
Well, in my mind currently, I've got 9 books. It's planned out from a framework perspective. Now, whether that goes on or not, I want it ideally to be something, as I said before, that I hand over to my kids, really. So if I'm not there to write them, maybe one of my kids would be, to carry on that story further into who knows where.
I love it. Let's get the viewer out there intrigued, at least with book 1. In book 1, the search for Morganuk's roots is where conflict ravages the land, gradually swallowing up peaceful societies. What will the reader learn in book 2 and 3 that will kind of be based on that first one?
A lot. There are suggestions in book 1 to something else, to these secrets, if you like. In book 2, those things become more physical, more present in Morganuk and his friends' experiences. In book 3, that's when you really find out things, and they're exposed to all of those things that have gone on that have been hidden for centuries in Pagalon, in a world that it has so far been hidden from everybody on that world. And there's more as well, actually. There's more. I don't want to give too much away, Gary, but there's more.
Yeah, no, I just want to pique their interest a little bit. I mean, readers are going to meet some unforgettable characters. They will love some, others not so much. His adopted parents, sailors, blacksmith, and a beautiful daughter. Do you enjoy creating the imagery of each character to present to the reader, even beyond text, like on your website?
I do. I really do enjoy that. I enjoy the character creation, and not just their physical appearance, but all their idiosyncrasies as well. You mentioned some of them are they're not perfect characters, as in the real world. We're not. We've all got our faults to some degree, some more so than others, and it's the same in my books as well. And the relationships between those characters as well, I try to make intriguing and as complex as I can, without losing the reader.
I mean, as a visual artist myself, what caught my attention to your work was the full website with images, maps, even a video trailer introducing your book. I mean, it seems to me that you have merged your background of technology into your world of writing. Would you say?
Yes, I would. And of course, there's a lot of things on offer nowadays to bring those thoughts to, imaginary to real images to share with folk. It's fantastic, really, that we can do that, because you don't want to take too much away from the reader's imagination. They need to have their own thoughts and sights of things, but it's just a hint, if you like, of it could really be like this.
To me, it felt like the images themselves actually got my imagination going. Really, I mean, my imagination took off after you gave me the initial vision. I could start picturing, who we're talking about. I think that was very cool. Both paperback and hardback are both available online, as well as an electric format. Is there an audio book coming out as well?
Yes, there is. I'm planning an audio book, and in fact, I'm going to start working on that. It will be narrated by myself, with all the voices and the odd dialogue and so on. So it's going to be a challenge, but a fun one. It's something I haven't done before, and I'm up for the challenge.
Let me ask you this, Andrew. Your writing really has helped you look outwardly rather than be consumed by your own troubles. Is it your wish that your readers realize there really is always hope? And as they escape to the fantasy worlds that you have created, is that what you hope for them as well?
Yes, I'm glad you spotted that, Gary, because that is a message I want to share with my readers. Things can get difficult at times, but through perseverance and working together, really, there is hope that there's a light at the end of those hard experiences.
That is great. That's what I was hoping you were going to touch on as well. Viewers, let's take a look at the bottom of the screen right there, and you are going to see his website. On the website, it's full of great imagery that will reveal the characters and places in his first book. You'll also find the links to purchase the book online, where the pages unite the ages to discover the epic saga of the Pagalon Chronicles. This is Gary Atencio with CNTV, and if you don't know, now you know.